Welcome back. It is the Fleeger, and today we're going to get a little off the redstone topic, and we're going to talk about water mechanics. Um, this is something you probably are all pretty familiar with, but we're going to go over it anyway, and that way you can hopefully maybe learn one thing out of all of this. Alright, so first thing is, with water I have one source block in the very middle over here, and then you have running water blocks. They are two different entities. They still function as being a block. This one square, even though it's small, is still considered to be a block, although it is not a source block. So you cannot scoop from it. You can only scoop from the middle one that is actually not flowing there. And then you see here, starting at the source block, it runs out 8. I count the source block as being 0 because it's not actually flowing. And then you have so on and so forth. So, in farms, source blocks or running water blocks, either one will hydrate farmland just the same up to 4 blocks away. You go 5 blocks away, it doesn't work. That concept, you can put one source water block, have it flow to the bottom, and here we're using an 80 block yield per 1 block of water. So you have 81 blocks, 9 by 9, minus the one in the middle where the water's flowing through. The water has to be adjacent or in the same level as all the farmland around it. So this block level has to have water or flowing water in it. It can't be above it or below it, but any 4 around it. So we have 80 times 3 is 240 blocks of farmland that are hydrated from one source block of water. Multi-level farming with very little water supply, this could be a great solution. You can use pressure plates and trapdoors to stop the flow of water. Water treats them as their own solid block, even though they don't take up physically a whole solid block, which is really cool here because we could use this type of setup to, force something into the hole. We're not going to do that here, but that's a neat little trick there, so you can stop water using those types of techniques as well. Here we're going to talk about signs and how water can flow and the way mobs work in the water. So we've got the villager, which will float, and the zombie, which won't float. And now the zombie's been stuck in here and probably won't be able to make it out. But the signs will stop water as if they were a solid block, and you see here it's creating an upflow, and when I use the slabs, it forces them up with the flow of the water. You can place water in front of a sign if you place the sign first, or you can also place the sign in the block of the water. Enemy mobs will sink, and friendly mobs will float in the water. You can also use dispensers with buckets. You can pick up and or drop with a redstone scoop of the bucket, so to speak. And there is a drowned turned from a zombie there, by the way. So, water. No water. Lava. No lava. Here we've got a really cool example of how the mobs will actually work in an elevator type of scenario. So You see here that the zombie falls and the villager gets pushed on. The villager gonna fall down in here, and the flow of water is gonna take him. And the villager actually has the ability to go up wall blocks with the help of water, since he will float, which means that a zombie won't be able to go up this type of ladder, but the villager would. And this zombie is just turned into a drowned. And you see here that the slabs force him up and around. And then soul sand with all source water blocks above it create a water jetting elevator that takes you up. And he can get up that, he's just not trying. If he'd turn and look the other way, he could do it. Anyway, last thing. Boats will stop you from being hungry. So, if you get in the boat, you see the hunger meter is gone. Just gone. So that means as long as you're boat traveling, you won't ever lose or gain hunger. This is a huge deal for traveling. You can save tons of resources by traveling the ocean or things like that on a map. If you're landlocked, though, sorry, it's probably not a good idea to build a bunch of rivers anyway. Alright, we're going to talk about conduit power. Conduit power is the survival way to water breathe. You see here I get in and the oxygen meter doesn't drop. We've got a conduit with a square around the axis of the prismarine, or the conduit here, made out of prismarine. Slabs of prismarine do not work for this. Sea lanterns also will do this, as well as a few other prismarine type blocks. You can create more of a comprehensive frame, so this gives you more area. This isn't the exact area that this covers, but this is what I used. And you can see here that it's filled with water, and I'm able to move through it without losing any air. I'm not suffocating or anything like that. The neat thing about the conduit is that it kind of pulls you toward it. Anyway. And there you see me using trapdoors to create an opening in the water without it flowing and spilling out. The last thing we're going to talk about is drowning. It's a little morbid, but that's what we're going to talk about. So up here, I've got Changeling, and Changeling is going to help us show you how this works. So Changeling here is a husk, and what a husk is, well, ouch. Basically, a husk is a zombie that's ridiculously dried out. Will not be damaged by the sun, found in desert biomes. If you waterlog or suffocate the zombie, I should say, husk, he will turn into a zombie. You see him shaking here. He's getting ready to transform. Once he turns into a zombie, his suffocation meter resets, and now we sit here and wait, and he will shake again and then become a drowned. So there are 3 levels of the suffocation that you can find in husks, zombies, etc. And then, of course, you get the drowned, which means that in the end, you can't just get rid of zombies. Eventually, they're going to come back for you as drowned if they don't despawn. Well, I hope you all learned something from this. It was a really basic video. Wasn't intended to really be super eye-opening, but more or less to make sure that everybody knew some of the more basic mechanics of water and the fact that you can make water flow upwards. You can also use the conduits for water breathing. You can use the water elevators to bring mobs from spawners up. If you go to the Nether, get some soul sand, you can make water elevators that launch things upwards, which is great for hermit episodes. If you've been anywhere around an ocean monument, then you know that a magma block, like the soul sand block, only magma block will draw you all the way down. Well, thanks again for watching. Have a great day. I'll see you later.